Hey, we're looking at Anthrax's Medusa today. If you haven't been playing guitar for that long or you're new to rock and metal, then this is a great song to add to your practice routine because it's really not that hard. I classify it as an intermediate to beginner type tune. So because of that, we'll be able to blast through it pretty quick. There's really only a few riffs here to talk about. We'll spend most of our time discussing the solo. So if you want to see more of these tutorials from your favorite artists, as well as theory and improv tips, then be sure to hit like and subscribe. And sharing really helps the channel to grow as well, so please do that. Now let's get right into it. We're in standard tuning. And the first couple of measures that we hear is this. Okay, it's really just a one measure thing that's repeating. So start on an F sharp power chord, second fret of the low string. So you've got the second and the fourth fret of A fretted, two notes. Okay, so stab that and then two palm mutes on that low string, on that low second fret. Okay, now we're gonna bounce back up to the A string, the fourth fret, back to that second fret on the low string. Stick your pinky out onto the fifth fret, and then two palm mutes on the low string that time. So nice and slow, it's like this so far. Okay, and that actually is the riff right there. Then you just repeat it again. So. All right, you're just gonna play that 4 times. But what gives the riff its cool little feel is that it's not starting on beat 1, it's actually on the end of 4. So if you were to count this out, you'd go 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. Right, so it's on the end of 4, which gives it its cool little syncopation. Okay, so now after you've played that 4 times, we're just gonna go down to an E power chord, and basically we're just doing the same rhythmic pattern. Right, we're just gonna do that 4 times. So start again with an E power chord. So here you've got the open E and the second fret of A fretted, so hit that. Do 2 palm mutes on the low E after that stab. Now the second fret of A, back to the low E. The second fret on the D string, 2 palm mutes on that low E. So nice and slow. Okay, and you'll just play that 4 times and then go back to the F sharp to repeat the riff again. So it's really 4 measures on the F sharp, 4 measures on the E power chord, back and forth. And at the head of the track, you'll hear that the whole riff play twice for the intro, and then it plays twice more for the verse. So this is the intro and the verse riff, right? Okay, so now that we've covered what that riff is, I'll just play through it nice and slow here for you. Right, and then it just repeats again the exact same way for another 8 measures through the thing. Okay, so now after we've played that, you know, for the verse or the intro and the verse, then we get into the pre-chorus. And the pre-chorus goes like this. Okay, and it plays, that's 4 measures that I just played. It plays it again for a total of 8. But that's really all that you need to learn, and then we repeat that. So what we're gonna do is start with an open E to that F sharp power chord on the second fret. So just the one single note, open E, and then the power chord stab, that F sharp. And now 2 quick palm mutes on the E, So open E, a quick down up on that, back to the F sharp. Okay, now we're gonna repeat that open E to F sharp with the 2 quick palm mutes. And tack on an open A, open E power chord there at the end, right? But now we're gonna go back, repeat what we did in the first measure for the third measure. And measure 4 is the same as measure 2, except we're just gonna put 2 new power chords in there. It goes like this. Right, so instead of A to E at the end, like we had in measure 2, we're gonna go B to C to wrap that riff up, which is the 2nd fret of A. So you'll want the 2nd fret of A and the 4th of D, moving everything up, both those notes up a half step to C, right? B and C on the 2nd and 3rd frets there of A. So those 4 measures, nice and slow. Okay, and like I said, you'll just repeat those 4 measures for a total of 8 to get the complete pre-chorus. Okay, so now that we've played, went through everything, the whole intro and verse riff and the pre-chorus, I'll put it together with some scrolling tab so that you can play along with me at a slowed down pace. Here we go. So that leads me to a quick little thing that I want to talk about. I purposely played out of the pre-chorus into verse 2 just so you can see that slight difference at the very beginning of verse 2, and you're going to notice that difference going forward from here in every verse. The riff starts on the end of 4, right? We learned it going and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now, when we start the rest of these verses, just that very first measure, we want to start it right on beat 1 instead of the end of 4. So you're just going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And then from there, it can start on the end of 4. But just that very first rotation coming out of the pre-chorus is 1 and 2 and 3 right on beat 1, okay? So you lose an 8th note in that first measure. Okay, so that leads us to the chorus and basically the rest of the riffs in this song. So I'll give the chorus a play through for you and then we'll break it down. Here we go. So it feels to me like this song has a bit of an odd structure where this riff comes in. You know, that riff, it almost feels like a second pre-chorus to me. But just for the sake of ease, I'm going to call this whole thing the chorus, and then we've taken care of all the riffs in the song. So what we're going to do is start with our 3rd finger on the 7th fret of the A string, and we're going to go down, down, up, down on that note. Right, and that's 1 and a 2. Now we're going to go up a minor 3rd to the 5th fret of the D string. Come back down to the A string, 7, 6, 5. Okay, so that measure. And now we're just going to take that figure and move it around. We move everything down 1 string to the low string. Just start that same thing, except on the 7th fret of the low string. Right, we're playing the exact same thing, just moved down a string, okay? Now, we're gonna move it down on that string to the 5th fret of the low string, and you just play the exact same thing. So 5 up to the 3rd fret, 5, 4, 3. Move back up to the 7th fret of that low E string, except instead of going 7, 6, 5, we're going to go 5, 6, 7. Okay, so that, I'll just play those first 4 measures. Now we repeat, we just play the first 3 measures. Now we get into the chorus proper. Okay, and we've got 2 measures that just repeats for the full rest of the chorus. Okay, so get your F sharp power chord again on that 2nd fret of the low string, and we're gonna go down, down, up, down. Same rhythm that we had on that note that we just were playing, right? So down, down, up, down. 1 and a 2. And then go up to an A power chord, open A. And then we're gonna come back to that F sharp, drop it a half step to F on the 1st fret, back up to F sharp, right? So, right? And you'll see that I'm fretting a 3-string power chord for this chorus. I feel it makes the chorus sound huger. Plus I watched live footage and they favor playing 3-string power chords in the chorus themselves. Okay, so if you choose to do a 3-string power chord, you'll just add your pinky. We've been doing that F sharp power chord on the 2nd and 4th fret. Add your pinky to the 4th fret of the D string as well. Okay? And then we have a measure of muted strumming. Okay, with a gallop rhythm. So what you're gonna do is lightly rest your fretting hand fingers over top the strings. You don't wanna push them, but just lightly touch. And then we wanna get this really thick and chunky. So you wanna also put your palm of the picking hand down on the strings, because if you don't put that palm down, you're gonna get a bunch of harmonics like, right? We don't wanna get that kind of a sound. We wanna put that palm down and get it really thick and beefy, okay? So what we're gonna do is just do a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. We're just, it's really a down, down, up every beat, right? So down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up. Okay, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and up. That's the rhythm for that. So putting those 2 measures together. Okay, and you'll play those measures 4 times in total for the rest of the chorus there, and that's the full thing. But that is all the riffs that you're gonna need for this song, but I'll just play that whole chorus nice and slow for you with some scrolling tabs so that you can follow along once again. Here we go. So that's all the riffs that there are in this song, guys. Like I said, it's not that hard, just a few of them. But let's just talk about what the rhythm guitar is doing underneath the solo, because that's probably the only place where some questions might come up. So underneath the solo is riffs that we've already learned. You're going to play the chorus riff 4 times to start the solo. So it'll be this. Right, play that riff 4 times, and then play the pre-chorus 4 times. So. Right, play that pre-chorus riff 4 times, and that takes care of the entire solo. So with that, that is all the riffs, so have fun putting that together and mastering that bad boy. Now let's talk about the lead, and let's just tackle the solo first, and then there's a couple of little leady bits that happens within the verses that we'll talk about quickly too. But let's tackle the solo first, and I'll give that a playthrough. Here we go. So it's a cool little solo with some unique challenges. We start off with a pinch harmonic and then a couple of tapped harmonics. So for our pinch harmonic, what we want to do is fret the B on the 4th fret of the G string. And then we're going to try to get it to sound like the 19th fret of our high string. So 2 octaves higher than our fretted note, which means you might have to hunt around a little bit to find that proper pinch, but that's how you want it to sound, right? That 2 octaves higher. Now, as you're shaking that, you're going to bring your picking hand over and tap the fret wire directly above the 16th fret wire. Okay, so that creates the first tapped harmonic, and then the 11th fret wire. So 16 and 11, and those are the 2 tapped harmonics. Okay, so. And then you want a nice slow slide with your 3rd finger up the G string to duplicate what you hear on the album. Okay, and that takes care of the very first thing. And then we have a nice slow bend. This is really just a unison bend, a couple of F sharps. We're gonna bend the 17th fret on B, nice and slow, up a whole step. And then get that same pitch on the 14th fret of the high string, and then bend that 17th fret on B again. And then we get into a little repeating pattern. Okay, so that pattern is 17 to 14 on the high string, a 16 on the high string down to 17 on B, back up to 14 on the high string, then 17, 16 on B, back up to the high string 14. Okay, so that nice and slow, that pattern. Okay, and we play that 3 times. Except that 3rd time, our last note is the 14th fret of the B string, bending the 17th fret again to finish that off. Okay, now we're gonna move that same pattern down to the 9th and 12th fret area, but we just finished it off a little bit differently. So it's the same pattern, just move it down. 12 to 9 on the high string, 11 on the high string, 12 on B, 9 on the high string, 12, 11 on B, back up to the 9th fret on the high string to finish it. So same pattern, like I said. Play that 3 times. Then the last note on that 3rd rotation changes again. We're gonna come down to the 9th fret on the G string, and then do a little pinch harmonic on the 11th fret of the G string to finish that off. Okay, so all together, that lick that we're just going to take that pattern and move down goes like this. Okay, then we get into a harmonized line, and this is a harmony in 5ths, but we'll talk about the higher harmony first. It goes like this. Okay, so it's really just connecting patterns of the F sharp Dorian scale. You could also think of it as the E major scale patterns if you're more comfortable with just the major scale patterns, because it's the same notes in F sharp Dorian and E major. But and I remember reading interviews a long time ago with Dan Spitz. He said that he was very into connecting scale patterns along the top 2 strings. So this is a direct indication of what he was talking about. We're going to go 2, 4, 2 on the high string, hammer pull, down to 5 on the B string, and then 2, 4, 5 on the high string again. Okay, so that's our pattern. And we're just gonna do that the whole way up the string. Move up to our next next scale pattern, and we're going to go 4, 5, 4, down to 7 on the B string, and then 4, 5, 7 on the high string. So putting those 2 together, just so you kind of get the feel of how this pattern is gonna go. Right, now the pattern does slightly change here on this, but we move up again and we start with the same idea. 5, 7, 5, hammer pull on the high string. down to 9 on the B string, and then 5, 7, with a really quick pull off between 9, 7, 5. And then we're going to shift up and keep this same pattern going. 7, 9, 7, hammer pull. Down to 10 on the B string, 7, 9, 11. Right, and then back up to 9, 11, 9, hammer pull. To the 12th fret on B, 9, 11, 12 on the high string. 11, 12, hammer pull. 14 on B. 11, 12, 14 on the high string. Last one, 12, 14, 12, hammer pull. Down to 16 on the B string, then 12, 14, with another quick pull off between 16, 14, 12. And then we have to do a quick little hop with our first finger to the 14th fret of B, and we go 14, 16, 17, and then bend that 17th fret. So we go 14, 16, 17, and then you want to quickly jerk it up and down with a slow bend back up to pitch a whole step. Okay, so let's put that whole thing together. Goes like this. Okay, so now before we keep going, let's just quickly talk about the harmony. Same pattern, obviously, we're just duplicating the same pattern up, but we're doing it a fifth. So we're going to transpose everything down a fifth lower, and that means we're going to play everything on the B and the G strings. So if you were, if you're trying to duplicate this solo, you might want to do an overdub. So these are the notes you'd want to play. Open to open, hammer pull on the B string, down to the 2nd fret on the G string, and then open 2, 4 on B again. Okay? And then 2, 4, 2, hammer pull on B, down to 4 on the G string, and then 2, 4, 5 on the B string. Move up, 4, 5, 4, hammer pull on B, down to the 6th fret on G, and then 4, 5 on B, with a quick pull off between 7, 5, and 4. Okay, now moving up again, 5, 7, 5, hammer pull on B, 8th fret on the G string, 5, 7, 9, up on the B string, then 7, 9, 7, hammer pull, down to 9 on the G string, 7, 9, 10 on B, 9, 10, 9, hammer pull, down to 11 on G, then 9, 10, 12. And our last one, 10, 12, 10, hammer pull, 13 on G, then 10, 12, with a quick little pull between 14, 12, 10, and then we're going to go 10, 12, 13, and then bend 13. And that 13th fret, you only want to bend half a step. Okay, so I kind of breezed through that a little bit quicker than I did the higher harmony, just because we've already kind of talked about that pattern. So I'll just play those notes nice and slow for you. So that takes care of the harmonized lick. Now we get into this one. Okay, so let's talk about what we're doing up here. 17th fret bend on the high string, and then jump down to 14 and 13 on the G string. Little pull off there, up to 14 on the B string, okay? Now we're gonna bend 16 on the G string, string skip, up to the high string 14. Now we have this. Okay, so we want to do a 16 to 14 pull off on G. Slide your first finger down to the 13th fret and hit that twice. Then pull off between 14 and 13 on that G string one more time. Down to 16 on the D string. Back up to the G string, hit the 13th fret twice. So it's like this. Now we're gonna go 16, 14, 13 on the D string, 14, 16, up to the G string 13 again. Okay, so put that whole all together. Now we have this. Okay, and that's just a little walk up and down the G string. 13, 14, 16, 14, 13. Give that 13th fret a nice little vibrato at the end there. Now we come down to the 2nd and 4th frets on the G string, and this whole lick that's coming up is directly out of the minor pentatonic pattern 1 that everybody knows, right? So we're gonna hit the 2nd fret, and then do that little bend trick on the 4th fret where you wanna raise it and lower it super quick, and then slowly bring it back up into pitch. And then we're gonna hit it another 5 times, I believe it is. End of 10. So you wanna do a down, up, down, up, down, okay? And then try to get some pinch harmonics there, and we hit it 3 more times. And then on the 4th time there, you're gonna release it back to pitch. So there's quite a few hits going there on the 4th fret, right? Now we do that same string skip idea that we had up here an octave higher where we did that. We're just gonna do that an octave lower here. So bend the 4th fret on G, up to the 2nd fret on the high string. So we're skipping that B string. Then I'll just play the rest of this lick so you have it in your ears. It goes like this. Right, as you can see, it's all just directly out of that minor pentatonic scale. So we're gonna go 5 to 2 pull off on the B string, down to 4 on the G string. Okay, then 2, 4, 2, hammer pull on the G string, down to 4 on the D string. Roll that 3rd finger to get a pull off from 4 to 2 on the G string, and then a 4 to 2 pull off on the D string. So nice and slow, that goes like this so far. Now we have this. Okay, so that's 4 to 2 pull off on the D string, down to 4 on the A string. Now we want to go 2, 4, 2, hammer pull on the A string, down to 5 on the E string. To finish this off, 4 to 2 pull off on the A string again, and then 5 to 2 on the low string. Okay, that's the lick. Okay, now we jump up, way back up here to the 16th and 14th frets. And now this is another harmonized lick. And on the recording, it's harmonized in octave. So I'm gonna show you the higher octave because when it was played live, he would play that higher octave. And if you're just playing it by yourself without the harmony, it does probably sound a little bit better doing the higher octave. So I'll show you the higher octave first, and then we'll go over the lower one quick. So you wanna jump up and hit F sharp on the 16th fret of the D string. Okay, and then we're just doing a scale sequence all the way up this pattern here. So start on the 16th fret, and then 14, 16, 18. Now we want to go 16, 18, 14 on the G string. Come back down to the D string just for the 18th fret, and then 14, 16 on the G string. So far we have this. Now we start going, you guys, a little bit quicker here. Okay, so we're gonna go 14, 16, 18 on G, 16, 18 on G, up to the 16th fret of the B string, then come back down to the G string 18, 16, 17 on the B string, 16, 17, 19 on B, 17, 19, up to 16 on the high string. And then come back down to the B string for that one note on 19, 16, 17 on the high string. Now, just changes a little bit at the end. We go 16, 17, 16 on the high string. Move your first finger up to get the 17th fret again there, so that you're in position to come down 19th fret on B, and then do that little, bend that we've been doing on the 19th fret of the high string, where you're gonna, quickly bend it, release it, and slow bend again. Right, so that whole lick goes like this. Okay, so there's the solo. Now let's just quickly cover the lower octave harmony to that final lick. We're gonna start on the 14th fret of the low string. Okay, and then 12, 14, 16 on the low string. Then 14, 16 up to 12 on the A string. Come down to 16 on the E string. 12, 14 on the A string. So we have this. Now 12, 14, 16 on A. 14, 16 on A, up to the 13th on D, come down to 16 on the A string, 13 and 14 on D, then 13, 14, 16 on D, 14, 16 on D, up to 13 on G, and then 16 on D, 13 and 14 on G. And then, okay, so we want to go 13, 14, 13. Bring your first finger up to the 14th fret again, 16 on D, and then bend that 16th fret on G to finish that off. And there's your harmony for that final lick. It goes like this. And there's the solo. I'll play it for you nice and slow with some scrolling tabs so you can play along with me. So that pretty much takes care of the track, guys. There are a couple of lead fills throughout the track that you hear though, so let's just super quick go over those. The first one is in the second verse after the first line, and it sounds like this. Okay, so we start off with a little bit of bar work. Bar the 14th fret on G and B, and you're gonna wanna dive it. And then you're gonna raise it. And you wanna raise it slightly higher the second time than you do the first. So all in all, it's gonna go like this. Okay, and then you get out of that by hitting those barred 14th frets again and bending them slightly. And then you wanna go 14, 12, pull off on the G string, down to the D string 14, back up to 12, on the G string. So very pentatonic-y type thing, right? Then, same thing just on the next string set up. 15 on the B string, bend it, doing a pull off to 12. Down to 14 on G, back up to 12 on the B string. And then go up to the high string, 15, bend it, release it, bend it again. Right? Okay, so all together. And you also hear that lead fill in the third verse, minus the bar work at the beginning. He does away with the bar work, but plays the same lead fill starting with the barred 14th frets where you bend them slightly. Okay, so that's the same lead fill, just minus the bar work. And that's basically it. In the second pre-chorus, there's a pick scrape. I'm not gonna do it, I don't wanna ruin this pick because it's a good one, but you just want to lay it across on the bottom 2 or 3 strings and just rake it, and you can play with the rate of speed and all that, but that's what that little scrapey sound is. In the third pre-chorus, you hear this. is barring the 14th frets again on the G and the B. Shake it with the bar and slide up to the 19th fret on the B string. Okay, and that pretty much does, that's all the lead fills that you hear. It's pretty sparse in terms of filling it up with lead fills. So that is the track, guys. Have fun putting that all together. And, you know, like and subscribe for more of this kind of content. And I'll see you next time.